It's crazy to me how many of us are so unhappy with our current situations. I was reading the comments on my video about not having a dream job, and I was kind of taken aback by how many people felt the same way that I did. But I also was a little bit comforted by the fact that so many people are kind of waking up to the fact that like this world that we live in is a little bit fucked up. No one wants to slave away at a 9-to-5 that they don't care about for 40 plus hours a week until they're 65. No one wants to do it. And it's also just not sustainable. I don't understand personally how other generations have gone on for so long and normalized this idea of working a job that you kind of care about, but you're really just doing it for the money, and you kind of like enjoy the weekends, but it's really just 2 days. I just don't understand it, right? And I went more into detail on that in that video. But in this video, I really want to talk about the solution. What is the solution? Is there a solution? What can we as little people do? Like even me with like my little channel and all these little conversations that we're having, what can we do to change this reality? Because like a lot of us aren't happy with it, right? So like there should be enough of us who are not satisfied that something can change, right? And I read this one comment on that video, and it's really long, so I'm not gonna read it, but it was super thought-provoking. She was saying, you know, she's 23, same age as me. She works 2 jobs, works 6 days a week. She is not happy, right? At the end of the comment, she asked like, what's the solution? Like, is the only solution to this experience, is the only solution to escaping this system and freeing ourselves, is the only solution starting a YouTube channel or starting a business or monetizing your passion and fighting capitalism with capitalism? And I was really thinking about it, and in a way, I think it is. Before y'all come for me, I think that we can all agree that we shouldn't have to live this way. Like we shouldn't live in a world where we have to trade our time for money. I don't know if you guys know like LLC Twitter, like the people who are always preaching like you have to work your way out of your own situation, you have to lose sleep, hustle, grind. If you have a day job, work a second job, find some other streams of income, do whatever you have to do to escape, whatever. Like there's a lot of people like that on Twitter. If you guys know what I'm talking about, comment down below. But I hate that mentality. I don't think that we should normalize that. We shouldn't have to even consider monetizing our passions. We should be able to just do whatever we want. Like we're humans on a spinning rock in the middle of space. Like while it makes me super fucking angry, I refuse to be complacent. For me, realistically, unless we're gonna go and just tear everything down right now, which is probably not gonna happen, there's not enough people who are down at the end of the day. My only solution in my head, and I would love for you guys to comment down below and like we can have a discussion on it. I feel like there's a chance for us to make change by playing the game, but also beating it. This world is kind of like a simulation, right? It's like a game, right? And when you're playing a video game, right? Like you as the player, you know that you are playing a video game. So when something bad happens in a video game, or when you're stressed out because you're trying to like beat something or trying to gain coins or whatever, and it's a stressful situation, what makes the game fun or what makes the game less stressful is knowing that you're playing a game. And so when I look at this reality that we live in, what I try personally to do, and again, this is just me, you guys may totally disagree with me and that's fine, but what I try personally to do is to recognize every single day that like this is a game. Like this 9-to-5 shit that I'm doing, the seriousness behind it and how much hours and work I have to put into it, it's kind of a game, right? And I'm in a really privileged position in this game of life to be able to have a 9-to-5 job that pays me the salary that it does. And then I'm also working from home and I have a lot of time to work on content. I have an opportunity to help others who are not in the same position as me, right? There's people who have no other choice but to be working 3 jobs to support their family and pay their bills and feed their kids. There's people who can't even afford the time to be sitting on YouTube talking about how tired they are of being in class or working their 9-to-5. There's people who don't have the time to really be sitting here talking about this kind of stuff, right? So what I personally see as the solution is using my privilege in order to help those who do not have as much privilege, right? And while it fucking sucks that I have to monetize my passion, I love making YouTube videos. Like this is what I enjoy doing. But like I see it now as like a monetary thing. While that sucks, I am able to do a lot with this by building this foundation. Once I eventually get to a place with my YouTube channel, I can have passive streams of income. I can spend more time doing what I love. I can start making more money and making it multiply and enjoying life more, right? And that's amazing. But all of those things are nothing without me helping others achieve that too. In order for all of us to live our dream lives, we need to create a world in which everyone has access to our dream lives. When you think about capitalism and the idea behind it, capitalism was born on this idea that we can all build our dream lives, right? We can all build whatever world we want as long as we work hard enough to get there. But at the end of the day, the reason why so many of us are so unsatisfied is because the people at the top of the chain, or whatever you want to call it, of capitalism, the pyramid of capitalism, were so focused on building their own dream lives that they kept all the resources, the money, the opportunities for themselves and not for others. If your dream life is to travel the world and eat good food and work out when you want and do what you want, that's awesome. There's an abundance of resources and money and opportunities for you to get there. But there's also an abundance of resources and money and opportunity for everyone to live that same life. So when you're thinking about your dream life, I really, really encourage you to fight the capitalist in your head and stop thinking about it in terms of yourself. Yes, it would be great for you to be able to travel the world and do all the things that you want. But once you build some kind of foundation for yourself, what can you do with your time and your resources and your money to create a world in which everyone can live this dream world? If you have money, if you make money, how can you give that money to other people? I know for me, like I've always had a goal of investing in real estate so I can give people access to housing, right? Imagine if people who currently own real estate decide to cut their profits and provide people with cheaper housing or even free housing. That's a possibility, but we just don't see it because we've been brought up to believe that we all have to be selfish and keep as much as we can in our little nugget of the world. It's like we're little chipmunks collecting as much nuts as we can. And at the end of the day, once you realize that this is a game and that you've been taught to only focus on your little chipmunk nuts, I need a better analogy for that, but once you realize that like you've been taught to really only worry about your own dream world, you can start to untrain your mind to really be only focused on yourself. We have to really think about what we as individuals can do with what we currently have to help others get at least a step above where they're at. It's shitty, the idea of fighting capitalism with capitalism. I hate it. Like I don't think that this is what we should have to do or what we should. I would love for us to just go and tear things down physically, personally, but it's not going to happen. So I really encourage you guys to think about like, what can you do with your current privilege to change the situation? You can do, like us, you, me, whoever else is watching this, the people in the comments, we can do a lot, just us. If you don't have a lot of money right now, that's fine. How can you, if you know a lot of people, how can you help create opportunities for people, right? Like for me, I work a 9-to-5 job. I work for a really big corporation. So a lot of times I will try to help my friends or help other people get hired at my company. 9-to-5 corporate life sucks. A lot of us want to get out of it, but there's also a lot of people who are currently working wage jobs and have to work double shifts to pay their bills, right? So even helping people get a 9-to-5 job where they have a salary and more time to do what they love, to pursue what they love on the side is something. The last thing that you can also do is educate others. Like you currently, by watching this video, you probably see through the fabric of this game, of this system. So how can you continue the conversation to help others understand what the fuck is going on? It's so easy to stay asleep. It's so easy to go back to sleep even after you realize what's going on, because again, so many people are focused on their own worlds and we live in a world where it's normal to be selfish. But I really encourage you to keep having conversations. I encourage you to educate people who don't realize what's going on. And I encourage you to normalize being happy, like, or maybe denormalize like the idea that we should all be stressed about shit that doesn't really matter. When more of us can stop thinking about things in terms of a fear-based mentality, it becomes a lot easier to realistically look at this world and realize that yes, it fucking sucks that so many of us are in these situations. It fucking sucks to have to monetize your passion. It fucking sucks that like so many of us see being an influencer as the only route to freedom. But for me, I'm just gonna choose to work my fucking ass off and keep losing sleep until I can be doing this full time and using the money that I get from this to give it back to you guys. Because again, what's the point of making a bunch of money and living the life that you want if you're not helping other people get there too? So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys a little bit later.